We've had a lot of requests for a video that shows how to make blog boards using the print module in Lightroom. And it isn't hard to do. You do have to understand a few things and you need to know how to set your settings over there. So I'm going to go through all of that. But the first thing that I want to tell you is about going over to the print module is that you want to have open the photos that you're going to use in this blog board. If they're all from the same session, you can just have the session selected and then you can go over to the print module and add your photos there. But if you want to add photos from multiple different sessions, you're going to need to create a collection. And over here, you can just, in your collections panel, just click on this little plus tab and create a new collection and add the photos to that collection that you want to put into your blog board. So now that we understand that, we're going to come over here and we're going to click on the print module. So as we click over here to the print module, depending on what we had left from another time is what's basically going to show up here. So what I would suggest that you do is Lightroom has some templates that come with it. And I would start by choosing one of these custom ones that came with Lightroom. You can choose any of them that you want. Doesn't really matter. We're going to change it all up here in a minute. But just so that you have some kind of template selected. Then I want you to come up here to Layout Style and make sure that you have clicked Custom Package. Okay, that's going to make a big difference. That's going to be really important. So under Layout Style, you need to have clicked Custom Package. So once we've gone through the first panel, we're going to come down to the bottom panel and we're going to fix this up next. And the reason I want to do this is because this is where you're going to set basically your page size that you want to create. So next to print to, we make sure that we have JPEG file selected. Draft mode, don't want that selected. Under file resolution, I'm going to set this to 150. Okay, you can play around with these settings, but this is what I have found to work. I'm going to take my JPEG quality, I'm going to slide it to 100. Anywhere between 90 and 100 is going to work okay. And then I'm going to check custom file dimensions. This box needs to be checked. And I'm going to click on these numbers down here and make some adjustments. Now I'm going to make it 10 wide. Right now we're dealing in inches. This is not going to make it be exactly 10 inches wide, just go with it here. And we're going to do something like 20. Okay. Now we're going to have kind of this longish type board that we can use to create something that we could post on our blog. We have some cells here that I don't want anymore, so I am going to click on them and delete them. And we are going to add some more cells. So now that we've got this set how we want it, let's go up to some of these other tabs and make sure that we're here where we want. Basically here, I don't want anything checked. Okay, I'm not going to check any of these. These will add borders and strokes to my images, and I don't want to do that. So I make sure that I don't have anything checked there. Under rulers, grids, and guides, I set this to inches. This grid snap, you can decide if you like it or not. I'm going to turn it off. If you have it set to cells, then the cells will snap together. And if you have it set to grid, the cells will snap to the grid. Okay, and when we're talking about cells, I'll show you what that means in a minute. This other stuff we can leave on. This stuff is fine to have on. We're going to click on cells here. I'm going to make sure that this lock to photo aspect ratio is not checked. I do not want this checked. And then for page, we're not really going to play around with this too much, but here you can add watermarks, identity plates, watermarking, stuff like that, if you would like to. We're not going to for this tutorial, but you may want to add that to your blog board, and that's where you do it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a 4x6. I'm just going to click on a 4x6, and it may not be exactly the size I want it, but I'm just going to drag it and make it whatever size I would like it to be. I think that looks good. Now I can click on 4x6 again and it will give me another 4x6 here, and I can drag it and make it how I want. Something else you can do is to hold down your Alt or Option key and click and drag another cell that's exactly like the one you just made. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space between them. That's just what I prefer. You may have something that you prefer different, so go with it. I'm going to Alt click and drag another cell down here. And you'll see my cell doesn't quite fit, so I'm just going to adjust it and make it fit. And I want to add it so that I have 2 horizontal photos and then I can have 2 vertical photos down here. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to make this work. There we go, something like that. And then I'm going to Alt click and drag another one. And maybe just slightly resize it. I want a little bit more space between these, and I'm just making my adjustments. I'm clicking on them and adjusting them. So now for this blog board, we have 2 horizontal photos and we have 2 vertical photos that we can add. So now that I've got to this point, if this is a blog board that I want to use over and over again, then I would want to save it. And in order to save this template, I'm going to come over here to my template browser panel, and I'm going to click on the plus sign right there. I'm going to give it a name of the blog board I wanted to make it. We're just going to say blog board 1. How about that? I'm going to choose where I want it to go. We're just going to put in user templates, and I'm going to click create. Now, as I'm going along, if I make any adjustments to this, then I can always update it. You'll see that down here in my user templates, blog board 1 shows up over here. This is what we've just created. So I'm just going to drag a few photos here so I can show you kind of how to make your blog board. I don't know which ones to pull here. Let's just pull, and maybe that one. Okay. So now if I've got this how I want it and I want to save it, now what I'm going to do is click over here on print to file. Print to file should be in the bottom right corner. So I'm going to click on print to file. I'm going to basically choose where I want to save it, what folder I want to save it in. You can pick from whatever you want by just clicking on that little down arrow. It'll be a little bit different for Windows, but not too much. Basically it's the same thing. You're just going to choose where you want to save it and you're going to give it a name. I'm just going to say blog board 1. And I'm going to click on save. And now if I go to that location, I will have something that says blog board 1. I should have it over here in just a second. There it appeared. So it's saved now. Now I can upload this to my blog and have it there. The dimensions that I set for you over here in the page or in the print job panel, this will give you approximately an image that is about 1500 pixels wide. That should work for most any blog size. If I were to reduce this down to maybe 72, then I'd get something more in the 900 pixel range. You can play around with these dimensions. I've found that this works pretty well for me, so this is what I've stayed with. But you can make adjustments to your size by changing these dimensions over here. So now that I've created this blog board, maybe I want to create something just a little bit different. Maybe I want it to be square, or maybe I want it to have multiple photos on it. All I need to do is adjust these dimensions, and I would still keep it 10. You might make it 10 by 10 if you want to do a square. So let's maybe do that. And you're going to see it's going to mess stuff up, so we'll just do that. I'm going to delete some of these. But maybe now I just make different cell sizes. So you can see that I can just come over here and adjust my cell sizes, add different ones. If I come up here to cells, you know, I could add something that's more like a 3x5 size, or maybe something that's a 3x7 size. You can play with these now and just add these to a blog board, however you want. When you're done and when you have something you like, then just save it like I showed you before. Click on the plus sign, give it a name. So hopefully this helps you understand how you can make a blog board for your blog, and play around with this module, and hopefully it will help save you some time and money as you make these for your blog now.